Hello, everybody. It's Stephanie Grams, CEO and founder of the Keepsake Business Academy. Here, just put my mic on so you can hear me without me having to yell over my HVAC system. Real quick, is this not the cutest cup ever? My daughter Savannah found this for me as an early birthday gift. So it was at Marshall's. So I don't $8.99. I don't know if they had other colors. I didn't even see it. I was walking through the store and I didn't even see it. So here you go. It's so cute. It's a real thick plastic tumbler. Adorable, right? Okay, so I'll just get right to it. As always, if you have questions, you can go to stephaniegrams.com, get on the newsletter, where you can learn more about the free workshops coming up this fall of 2024. And if you're a memory bear maker, keepsake business owner, whether you're new, aspiring, or new, ready to grow, etc., you can go to keepsakebusinessacademy.com and join the other paying students for some great information. Now, one of the perks with my students is they can ask for the transcripts of the podcast, but you can always rewind this if you need to. So today's podcast is craft show and event guide. And basically, I'm just going to tell you, not tell you, but give you some ideas if you have a memory bear and keepsake business, how you can incorporate yourself into craft shows and similar events, but also maybe some things that you might want to think of before you sink in a lot of money on becoming a paid vendor, because the good shows are usually quite expensive. The cheaper the show, the less likely of any type of foot traffic. That's not always the same, so don't come after me for saying that. It just seems to be how things are, right? You get what you pay for kind of thing. So it could be very discouraging to be a paid vendor and not have any foot traffic, regardless of what you're selling. I know as a memory bear maker, it's even more important, I think, to know what shows or events you should probably spend your time at. And remember, I'm talking about as a paid vendor, not as an attendee. So as a paid vendor, keep this in mind if this is something that you're trying to utilize to get word out for your memory bear business. I'm going to scoot back just a little bit in the camera. So here we go. So, because it's very discouraging. You pay money, you take time, you set up at a vendor event with hopes and dreams of, making sales, right? Okay, so here are some reasons why a craft show or similar event is not a good fit for a memory bear and keepsake maker. So the first one is target audience mismatch. I'm just going over my notes. Craft shows they usually attract a variety of customers, and most of those are not really there looking for a customized sentimental item like a memory bear or keepsake. They're usually more interested in like a generic craft or lower priced items or items that are just not really personalized. So if you have attended any craft shows, maybe as just an attendee, you might notice that a lot of the vendors, it's more of a mass produced type of setup. And I'm not saying that they buy it in bulk from Wish or something or Alibaba. I'm just saying that they have their own small production company at home where they can mass produce similar or same items over and over and over again, like stickers and stationery and t-shirts and things like that. But when you're a memory bear and keepsake maker, you can't mass produce that stuff, right? It's off of the person's clothing and things like that. So mass producing that type of item is a no-go. So really think about the audience and what else, like, I think in order to think about the audience, you have to look at a list of the other vendors. Who's going to be there? What's being sold? And does your memory bear and keepsake business fit into any of that? Who's attending as a vendor and a shopper? All right, so high competition. So again, craft shows are usually filled with numerous vendors, and you might not have the exact product as another person, but similar, and that can also cause for some problems. With a memory bear and keepsake business, there might not be a lot of competition per se for you, but the customer can end up actually being overwhelmed trying to even figure out what it is you're selling. So you always have to go back in your mind, is this a craft show that's going to be good for me as a vendor with my memory bears and keepsakes? Also, something that could hinder is the price sensitivity. I know that my students and I charge well over $50 per memory bear, and that just depends on the size of bear that is being produced for the customer. So they can range to well over $200 per memory bear. Again, it just depends on what's going in to creating that product. Um, so before you're a vendor, definitely know what's happening on the ground. So if you can at least attend it as a shopper first, see how you can fit in. Um, Another hindrance, if you think that you're going to go and sell these memory bears and keepsakes, it's the lack of the emotional connection, because there's a sentimental value of these bears and keepsakes that may not be immediately apparent to a busy, crowded craft show environment. Again, shoppers are usually there for something quick. I know from the last craft show I was at, I did not set up my memory bear items. I did put my business card in the bags, and I just had little trinket things like in memory of, and it was a plastic ornament, super just generic, in memory of love mom, love dad, that kind of thing. I had these beaded pins. Let me see. We had seasonal beaded pins that I took and sold for like $1 each. Basically, my mentality was, number one, I wanted to see if this was a local area, if these individuals, the shoppers and vendors, were even within my target customers for my particular memory bear and keepsake business. And I also wanted to see the type of shoppers that this event attracted. And I'm very glad that I did go, and I did take that experience. Again, the table was cheap. I didn't expect anything really to come of it. I did sell all of my beaded pins, so that was nice. That was over 100 beaded pins that my daughter and I put together and sold. Um, but I was able to at least get my business cards out there for, and it was cheap. It was cheaper than taking out an ad, honestly, because again, the table was cheap. It was good. It was for a good cause. But um, what I noticed was there were a lot of shoppers shopping for ideas. So they were idea stealers. I don't have a better way of explaining it. I think we're all guilty. I'm sure I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it. Where you go to a craft show or a similar event and you're shopping for ideas for um, your own business, maybe what to start, what to add, what products are trending, things like that. So just keep that in mind if you are going to set up at a bazaar, like a church bazaar. Or I sat up as, what was it called? What was it for? Um, it was a small nonprofit to help with Christmas for not Toys for Troops, but something, Toys for Tots. That's what it was. Let me see. I had a grid. Yeah, that's a good idea, Lola. Definitely. Yeah. So you have the right mindset. And so, you're literally there planting seeds in your business. And again, it doesn't matter if your memory bears, keepsakes listening to this. These are all good ideas. Just kind of keep them in mind. So there are other alternatives, like your on-site online sales and marketing. Partnership with local businesses, your target marketing and advertising. But there are ways to plant those seeds for your memory bear and keepsake business. So keep that in mind. Now, there are some related items. Now, I talk about this in the Keepsake Business Academy, and I should probably update that because trends are happening all over the place with our industry. But keep in mind that there are related items that you can make in bulk and sell. So something to keep in mind are those plastic ornaments. I don't have any more made, but they're just the small plastic ornaments, Christmas tree ornaments, and you can use your HTV heat transfer vinyl or actually permanent vinyl and say in memory of love mom, love dad, love aunt, love uncle, that kind of thing. You can find those SVG files online. They're pretty cheap. You can make in memory of those patches. If you are a Keepsake Business Academy student, you actually get PES files for your machine embroidery. You can make those and sell the patches individually. Because you may have a DIYer come past and see that patch and never even know what a memory bear or keepsake is, and now you might have planted a seed for a new customer. So keep these related items um, in mind. These pins sold out. Again, they were super cheap for me to make. My daughter sat and helped me put the beads together. This is a turkey, but think of it. I made some with teddy bears on it. And what did I do? I don't have that one in front of me. Wait, do I? Let me see. Give me just a second while I dig. So with your keepsake and memory bear business, think of related items that make sense for your target customer. Again, not your target customers and mine are not going to be the same. All right. We have target customers that aren't looking for anything in memory of, but rather they're looking for the sentimental item. Sorry, I can't find that pen. The sentimental aspect of a life event, such as getting married, having a new baby, being a new grandma, things like that. So just because we use the term memory bear, I really try to stress this. I really hope my students grasp this, but even if you're not a student, I hope it makes sense. That memory bears is just the umbrella, just a generic term for a sentimental stuffed animal. So there are different terms. And again, I have a whole workshop on this, but there's memory bears, which is in memory of somebody that has passed. And then you have a sentimental teddy bear, which is typically purchased for somebody that's still alive, doing well. They just want to remember a particular time and place, like family reunion, college graduation, high school graduation, etc. Maybe a new grandma that had a custom T-shirt made, and they want something to hold on to, right? And then you have a whole line of comfort care, and comfort care is something that is requested of me often, and that is to take so for instance, one of my siblings went through cancer, and during chemo, I made her a comfort care quilt, and it had some of her favorite pictures of her friends and family. I sublimated those onto her quilt, and that's the blanket she took to chemo with her. Praise the Lord, she is healed. She no longer has cancer, so we were very thankful and blessed in that manner. But that was a comfort quilt for her during that time. So just remember who your customer is. What is it that you like to do? You might really enjoy making these stuffed teddy bears, but maybe you're marketing them wrong. So maybe it's not really the bereavement memory of that you're trying to attract, but you are calling it that same thing. Yeah. Thank you, Lola. Yes, absolutely. Um, Definitely all praise to the Lord for her healing because she battled it twice. Um, so, um, so just like circling back to the whole craft show event, vendor events, bazaars. I don't know if they still call them that. That's kind of an old term. I grew up as a child. My grandma would go to a church bazaar, things like that. I'm not saying don't attend. I'm just saying ask yourself these 4 questions. And if you have something to write with, that's great. If not, just replay this video because right now I'm live. First, I have to get a drink. Did you see my cute little cup my daughter got me for my birthday? Teddy bear, of course, a teddy bear, right? Um, so I'm trying not to drink in your ear. I'm sorry. So, question number 1 is, what is your intention of attending as a vendor? So, definitely write that down. What is your intention of attending that event as a vendor? All right. Question number 2, what outcome do you desire? Do you desire an increase in income outside of your sewing? Now hold on to that. Oh, thank you, Lola. Yes, she found it at Marshall's for like $9. It's so cute. And I will explain this question in just a minute. Like, are you going in as a memory bear and keepsake business owner to increase your income of sewing that particular item? Or are you trying to supplement your income without expecting memory bear orders? And I know that sounds so weird, but let me tell you what process of my brain is going through right now. So when you attend as a vendor, and again, I'll use my example. I knew I was going to plant seeds of my business when I was a paid vendor. However, I knew I was not going to get orders for my memory bears and keepsakes. I knew that going ahead. If I got an order, that's great, but I knew that was not the place nor the time for my target customers to really say, "Hey, I want to place an order with you," right? But I did make some supplemental income without expecting my memory bear orders because I had over 100, maybe, yeah, at least 100. I think I had more than 100 of these beaded pins. They took literally pennies to make and put together. I got all of the beads and all of these little, whatever these things are, from Temu. Some people order from there, some don't. Everything you see here, it cost me about, I don't know, 19 cents to put together. Now, obviously, you want to make it make sense to your customers, right? You want to attract people into your booth, and you want to keep all of that in mind while you're debating on being a vendor. But yes, advertise your memory bears and keepsakes. Like I said, I put a flyer in every single bag. Whether they said they didn't need a bag with their pen, I still handed them my business card, and I just made sure that I planted those seeds throughout the whole show. All right. So make sure you know, what outcome do you desire? Do you desire to sell stuff? If so, sell things that make sense to your target customers. Okay. Number 3, how will attending as a vendor help grow your memory bear and keepsake business? Again, if you're just going because you have other things unrelated to your business that you sell, go for it. It's whatever works for you. But yes. Oh, thank you, Lola. Thank you. Yes. So everywhere you go, plant a seed. Everywhere. Whether you're a vendor or a shopper, plant a seed. Okay. So take your business cards. If you're a shopper, take your business cards and switch with somebody, another vendor. Maybe there's a vendor selling cute gift ideas, and you just switch business cards and have a conversation. Always plant your seeds. Okay. And then number 4 question. Okay, this might sound really weird, but do you know what a BHAG is? BHAG? It's big, hairy, audacious goal. All right. I learned that a long time ago. So, what is your BHAG, and how will this craft show help you get closer to reaching that goal? So, I'm going to give you an example. A BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. Think of a big monster, right? Like Monsters Inc. Sully. He is adorable. I love Sully. He's so cute. He reminds me of myself in certain ways. So if you think of this big, hairy, cute goal, um, how, like, first of all, you have to define that, right? You can't just say, I want to sell my memory bears and keepsakes in full time. There's no, if you don't have any numbers attached to that, that's not even a goal. That's a dream. You're not going to see anything happen in your life that you want. But when you think of this big goal, you need to put numbers with it. So, for example, when I first started out almost 10 years ago, started out with the memory bears and keepsake sewing part of my business. I've been a sewist for 40 years, but the memory bear and keepsake arena industry has been almost 10 years. I didn't have any goals. I really didn't. It never really crossed my mind at first. And after a lot of prayer, um, I truly believe the Lord really planted that dream and led me through each action step and plan it out. Again, it definitely was not on my own. This wasn't even on my radar. Even when I lost two children, I was a sewist. I didn't even know about this industry. So going back to the how that whole goal played out, and it might be an example for you, is know your goal. What is your goal? Is your goal to work full time for yourself as a keepsake artist? Excuse me. Um, what does that look like? Is that 40 hours a week? Are you making $2,000 a month? Are you working 8 hours a day, 3 days a week? Like, really write down and hold yourself accountable for the goal that you have and make it a big, scary goal. Okay. Don't make these puny little goals that you can just shrug off subconsciously and be like, meh, if it happens, it happens. Or, oh, I just don't have time this week. If you're shrugging those goals off, they're not scary enough. You need scary goals in your business. Otherwise, it's most likely not going to produce what you want. And you can really add that to any part of your life, but I'm not a life coach, so I'll just stick to what I know. So, a big goal for me, I want to help 50,000 memory bear and keepsake business owners start and grow their own successful business. I want to help 50,000 by the end of 2026. So, I have a lot of work to do. Does this work? Let me know if you can hear me now. Is this one? Oh, yay! Thank you. Sorry, my other microphone died. Okay, so yeah, so writing down your goals is very scary. An example of that, thank you, Lola. An example of what I just went through, and to me, it was a scary decision to make in my memory bearing keepsake business. But I posted this into my student. Thank you so much. In my group was, and I have two groups. One is for paid students and it's private, and then the other one is open to the public. And I just said, as of this week, it was actually July 25th. Okay, yeah, at July 25th, 2024, I decided that I was no longer going to use um, those plastic safety eyes and noses. And let me show you what they are. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so you see these are called, they're in our industry, they're called safety eyes. You know, they come with the safety backs and stuff like this. And I have dozens and dozens of these, all shapes, sizes, all different colors. And I've used them for, I've always given my customers a choice between that and hand embroidered and heat transfer vinyl faces. So I should probably clear all that up. They have always had the option of safety eyes and nose, which are these plastic ones I showed you, heat transfer vinyl, hand embroidered, and no face at all. So those were the options that my customers always had. Well, I have decided that I'm no longer offering these plastic eyes and noses. And there's a couple reasons why. Number one, they truly are not safety. Safety in the means of they're literally just for crafting, right? And I know that there are makers that will probably always include these. They even offer handmade glass eyes, and they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Um, but and I also know, and I let my customers know, that these memory items that I make are not toys and they're not meant to be played with. And I even have a choking hazard statement on my business tag that I do sew into the products. But I am a grandma now, and I know children are quick and fast, and they touch things that are not supposed to be touched, so even when you keep them up. And I just, for me and my business and my target customers, I have decided I'm no longer even going to offer them as an option. I will offer additional options, and I am going to create examples of what those look like so my customer can actually envision what it would look like on their finished product. So I'm working behind the scenes trying to do all of those things. But that was not in my cards, really. As you can see, I have plenty of stock of these items. They will be used for my art products. I make mixed media art. That's completely unrelated to the keepsake industry. But and I've been making those for 25, 30 years. But anyway, so in the keepsake arena industry for myself, I will not offer those anymore. And that was kind of scary for me to make that decision, because it seems to be a trend, and most, not all, but most memory bear and keepsake makers use them. And I think that in our industry, our customer base gets used to seeing those. And so I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. It's your business. You do what's right for you and your company and your customers. But, you know, so I'm not offering those anymore. I'm taking it off my website. I have a lot of rebranding to do to remove those words of safety eyes, safety nose, that kind of thing. Like, even my order forms have to be redone. And that's that's time consuming. And I had to weigh it out. Like, is it worth it? Should I do it? Things like that. And I am. It just makes sense to me and my business. So I know that was a little bit unrelated to the craft shows. So I probably ought to finish up the craft show list if you're still here. Um, Keep in mind that if you're going to set up a craft show or a bazaar or as a vendor, as a memory bear maker, make sure you understand the shoppers coming through are probably not there to even shop in our industry. So have related things on your table that make sense. Plant your seeds. Remember, you want to, um, thank you, Lola. I appreciate that. Yeah, and the thing is, well, I'll get right back to that real quick. Sorry. I don't want to digress here. Just make sure that your table and your vendor, as a vendor, your table makes sense, that you are still going to attract your target customers, grandmas, new parents, whoever, whatever is going on. Make your items make sense. I recommend that they stay within the keepsake industry. And yes, beaded pins and stationery and stickers can all be part of that. So think of the whole, like the big picture. You don't want to look like you're a yard sale. So that's basically in a nutshell. Don't let your vendor spot look like a yard sale. Okay. And then, yes, Ola, one thing that crossed my mind um, was now that I'm a grandma, anything that of mine that gets handed down to my grandchildren or my great grandchildren, um, I want to make sure it stays in the best condition, as possible. I mean, time ruins everything, right? But we just want to kind of keep that in mind about the safety, what's being handed off. I don't want my grandchildren to go to somebody else's house and get something that's dangerous. But anyways, so we have that to think about. But also on the flip side of that, I noticed something in one of the protocols, one of my example memory bears that I made for myself for one of the classes that I taught a few years ago was and I showed this online if probably in 2022, here somewhere. But I showed my little funky looking teddy bear that I purposely made, where you can cut the pattern to make it look like it's wearing clothes. And I'd put safety eyes in a nose on that bear, and I just throw the bear in a bin. It's just literally, it was just an example I made for one of my tutorials. And over time, those studs, let me show. Oh, I just made a mess. When I say studs, I can't even hold this up. Do you see the little screws right here? Okay. All right. So over time, these wear around in that hole in the fabric. And I know some people use a different type of glue or adhesive to secure it in the fabric, and I totally get that. But let's face it, the fabric we're working with is already weak because it's been worn and washed and dried over and over and over and over and over, right? Hundreds of times probably. And some of the fabric, I know some of the clothes that I get for my orders are 30 plus years old. And so I'm thinking, okay, another reason not that I will not use them because of my customer base is because after a while, those little studs ruin the fabric and the studs come loose. Sometimes the eyes completely fall out or they're just barely hanging on. And then you've got this disfigured memory bear or stuffed animal. And it's a real, listen, it's terrible trying to fix those. Once those are pulled out or fall out, the hole that's left behind is a nightmare to stitch and fix without distorting the rest of the product's face. And so, I mean, let's face it, that there are probably better things to offer. Yeah, Yeah, it can be very bad. I made an army bear. Let me see if I can get it for you. Give me a second. Oops. I just knocked down something. Whoops. So I made this army bear. All right. Now, don't come at me yet. I'm not done explaining why it looks like this. This was just a gift. This was not an order, nothing like that. And it was a gift I didn't charge for because I was trying something new. And so whenever I try something new, I always gift it to somebody. So this is my son-in-law's, some of his army clothes. And so I wanted to make a very squishy type memory bear. So I made two, and this particular bear had safety eyes and a safety nose. And at that time, my daughter and son-in-law had a puppy. And yes, the puppy decided that he was going to, or she, her name is Luna, that Luna was going to jump on the bed and attack this particular bear. She didn't attack the other bear. She attacked this bear. She pulled the eyes out. She pulled the nose off. And I tell you what, I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but the hole that peg, that safety eye left, literally was a nightmare to fix. I'm not real happy at how it looks now. I mean, I did what I could because we're out of the fabric and my daughter wanted to keep the fabric that was there. So there was other things we could have done. We could have switched out the whole head. We could have used different fabric and so on and so forth. But she wanted it kept exactly like it was, just fix the holes in the face. Oh, this poor bear. But anyways, so I went ahead and did that, and now she's just waiting patiently for me to give it back to her, which I need to do this weekend. But anyways, that was just another reason. And so now that I have all these reasons for not using the safety eyes and safety noses for my keepsake items, I will use them for other products. Again, if you follow my Etsy shop, then you will see that it's being flipped just a little bit. So, all right, let me see. My daughter's dog just did the same thing to my. Oh, is that the giraffe you just showed us? That was so cute. Oh no, I'm sorry. If you have heat transfer vinyl, because if you use heat transfer vinyl, what you would do is use permanent fabric glue. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. You can use liquid stitch or even this fabric fuse. These are always in my sewing toolbox. I stock up on this bad boy. Anyways, if you have that, either of those, what you can do, and you might already know this, but just in case you're watching and you don't know, if there's a hole in its face or anywhere, squirt the glue inside that hole and pinch it. And then if you have those little clips, any type of clip, even a paper clip, even this kind of a clip. These are just binder clips, and I use these in sewing. They come in all sizes. But even as a binder clip, you can just like pinch the fabric together. Well, I gotta find somewhere to pinch. Once you put the glue in that hole, pinch it together, let it dry, and then you can take your heat transfer vinyl and just put on some eyes. You can even use felt pieces. So there's other ways without having to restart the whole project over again. But I mean, he's still cute. I am my own worst enemy. My daughter loves it. My grandson can just drag this thing through the house and he's going to be just fine with it. Again, they know it's not a toy. Right here, on the tag, I make my own tags, by the way. So that way I can, oh my goodness, she lives across the country. Okay. Yes, I mean, this is probably something that she would be able to do then on herself, on her own, hopefully. But right here, I just said, I call it directions. I say, this is not a toy. Small parts, choking hazard to kids and animals, adult supervision only. Spot wash by hand with cold water. And then it says handmade by Stephanie Grams. And that's on one side. The other side just says memory bear, stephaniegrams.com. Again, you can say whatever you want on your tags, but I make my own tags and all that. I need to learn to embroider the eyes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, that tag, I have that tutorial in here somewhere in this playlist of like 900 or 1,000 videos, I think. I've got a lot of videos here. But definitely, and you know what, Lola, that can be on your BHAG goal for your quarter 3 or quarter 4. And have you worked on your quarter 3 or quarter 4 yet? But put that down and hold yourself accountable. Learn to embroider eyes, and then make tags. Get your business cards and plant seeds everywhere you go. Now, I shouldn't say, you haven't started. No. Well, today's a great day to start, even if it's by just taking a little tablet. Just take out a little Post-it note if you have to and write something down and then stick it on your wall. You should see my computer screens. I got these sticky Post-its all over my computer screens. Yeah, just I keep these on my desk, and I just literally, it drives my husband nuts. I'll show you here. I have several of these, and I actually have them clipped together now. So now I need to take my clipped of these things here, and I need to put them in my business binder. What do I do with my business binder? Oh well, I'll find it. I had it right here. So I have a lot of work ahead of me too. Right when you think you have your business in line, something new changes. So that's okay. That keeps us on our toes, right? Okay, I'm going to call it a day. I have to get ready. I have a paint class to go to this afternoon, and I have Post-its. I love me some Post-its, let me tell you. Now, I will tell you this. The name brand is way more stickier than these generic, so I'm going to have to give the generic to my daughters. I'm going to have to go buy me some more name brand because these are not sticky enough for me. But anyways, so hopefully I gave you some really good tips. If I could please get you to like, share, and comment on this video, that would help me out, and it doesn't cost anything. Please consider signing up for the newsletter at stephaniegrams.com. And as always, you're invited to become a paying student of Keepsake Business Academy, where I help you go from sewing hobbyist to a sewpreneur in the keepsake business industry. Thank you for attending, Lola, and commenting and keeping me company. It gets so lonely talking to myself. And I'm going to sign off. Here's my cute little birthday cup. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Lola. I'll talk to you again later. Bye.